Five, four.
Good evening. Welcome back to our Facebook Live forum. Today we have special guests. I'm super excited in introducing Dr. Jessica Thompson Faya, who will be joining us shortly, and Hugo Gonzalez, who is he is the Learning Support Services Technician. They're going to be discussing or presenting on the services that they provide. It's super important as you are taking your online classes or hybrid classes that you get the supports that you need. So I'm really excited about the information that they're going to share with you. And I look forward to the questions that you have for them so that we can make sure you have everything that you need in line for fall registration. And if you're concerned about taking classes online or hybrid in the hybrid format, they will be able to address some of the ways that they can assist and provide those services for you. So Hugo, you go on ahead and speak to your programs and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Marissa. And yeah, at the Lee College Learning Hub, we house three different services, programs. We have tutoring, first of all, as the first thing you see, peer mentoring as well, and supplemental instruction. Now, a little bit about these programs is let's start with tutoring. Tutoring at the Learning Hub is your traditional one-on-one, 1 hour setting where you can go and if we were in person, you can go in there and have a tutor one-on-one as a walk-in or as an appointment. Now that we're working from home, we transfer all of our services virtually. So we have a booking website, which we can share with you guys, and it works the same way, but instead of in person, right, you have that virtual setting, one-on-one on Zoom. And for supplemental instruction, we have our SI coaches, as we call them. We have them embedded in the classroom, and depending on how the instructor does their classes, whether it be a live lecture or whether it be online videos, well, it doesn't matter. The SI coach knows all of the content, and they are aware of what's going on. They're keeping track of new changes to the syllabus, and they make their own lesson plan and give their own sessions at a separate time, which are optional, yes. But the good thing is that the SI coach is focused on the hardest content and is able to be there for the student to answer any questions. Now, peer mentoring, our third program, is very, very similar to supplemental instruction. The only difference is that it's not content-based. It's more of the peer mentor is there to guide first-year students who may have trouble finding their way in college, finding the right resource, and just having trouble with what to do during their first year. And they're also embedded. They host circle processes, as we call them, where the group gets together and discusses. The topics can range, but it's basically a safe place to let out all your struggles or not. You don't have to participate. But yes, in this virtual setting, the peer mentor does the same thing. They're embedded in the classroom, and everything is done through Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate. And let's see, we also, at the Learning Hub, in the actual space in person, we also house the Puente program. Cassie, the Puente program counselor, is there, and that program is another cohort, another familial cohort where students are placed in a class. I was in the Puente program myself. They're placed and the first year students are placed in a class, and they get to be there with other students that are maybe also first year students, right? And they follow similar. They all follow the same throughout the same year. They follow similar classes and are together throughout that time, and maybe doing activities as well that bring them together. They also have a mentor. But yeah, that's pretty much about the three programs in a nutshell. All online, of course, and we're going to share our website in the chat where you can make a tutoring appointment.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Hugo. As you can see that we have Dr. Husband and Sarah Tidwell on the chat, making sure that you have the information for the STEM HSI information, the sheet that he just showed you, as well as the mentoring through Puente. We had the privilege of having Cassandra Flores last week talking about Puente information up there as well. Again, for to be able to book appointments, we will post that link here shortly so that you can go on there, simply book me and book any kind of appointments. But I do have some questions for Hugo. Hugo, when will the Learning Hub reopen?
So as of now, the college is following state guidelines. So, and there's really no plan yet to reopen for in-person services, but we do have everything set up online, and our tutors are ready to assist you. And but yeah, so we are open, but just no in-person interaction. It's all online.
Excellent. Thank you. So how do I get in contact with a peer mentor if I'm thinking that I want to get some kind of mentoring?
That's a good question. Yes. So it's a misconception that you have to be in a class to contact a peer mentor. You actually don't. They're there to support any student. You know, they are pretty well trained in all of the resources the college offers, and they know where to send you with whatever you need help with. Right? They can make that connection with you to someone else. So I'm also going to share our emails, Jessica's and I's, that right now, that would be the first line of contact, due to everything. So I'm actually going to share that in the chat as well. And yeah, that would be it. Our emails. We also have a phone number. I can share that as well. And that phone number redirects you to Jessica.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So if I'm in a class and I'm needing additional tutorials or tutoring or help from the Learning Hub, normally I would walk over into Moeller Hall and get that. Now I'm looking at needing to email y'all to see if I can get the assistance that I need. How fast of a turnaround is that for booking an appointment? Because if I have a test tomorrow and I'm struggling with something that you may be able to offer tutoring for, how much time in advance do you need to get me assistance?
I would say it's pretty fast. Here's how it works. Our tutors, once you book an appointment, the tutors get a notification to their email immediately, and they're able to see the time, they're able to see when and what subject. So it's pretty fast. They're able to see all of that immediately and go on to on their computer and confirm your appointment. So we could be talking immediately here, right? Now, if a student, let's say a student needed immediate assistance on this immediately, right? So they can contact us via those same emails, or the fastest route would be phone number, and we can immediately direct them to somebody who is available, during that shift.
Oh, look, we have Jessica back. Welcome,
Hi,
Jessica.
I had to join on my phone.
Well, you still look spectacular. Thank you for joining us. Hugo did a great job giving us an overview of all of your services. Is there anything that you would like to add to it? We have student affairs personnel on the chat giving information to your websites. I put in there your booking information as well. I'm about to put Hugo's phone number in there so that students who need instantaneous tutorials, especially during a hard time where they feel like they need it tomorrow or tonight, they can contact y'all to see if that's even possible, because we want to make sure that we offer those supports. So any additional information that you would like to add, please do.
Sure. I'm pretty sure Hugo's touched upon this, but we try really hard to embody everything that we were doing in our face-to-face services online. So if, like me tonight, I had technical issues with my computer, my internet went down. It's just a 6 o'clock hit, and so if that happens with you, our tutors and SI coaches are more than happy to give you a direct call. So whenever you make those appointments for tutoring, it's really important to include as much personal contact information as possible. So not just your email, but also your phone number, because in this age of virtual everything, it's really important that we can contact you to have even more of like that texting back and forth, or to help you troubleshoot maybe getting into your Zoom appointment or to your Blackboard collaborate with your SI coach. The same thing goes for our peer mentors. The more information that we have from you, the more likely we can, or the more we'll try to connect with you if something falls apart like my internet did tonight. So we really try to keep that same level of customer service and relationships that we have with students face to face. We really try our best to make sure that we can keep that in the online environment too. Hugo, did you get a chance to talk about peer mentoring as well?
Peer mentors being embedded in the classroom, and how they work now that we're doing everything virtually.
Yes. Awesome.
Excellent.
Good.
I have another question for you. Sorry for all the questions, but I want to make sure that we cover all of the great things that you're doing. How do I apply to work at the Learning Hub? If I'm interested in working with all of y'all because y'all are doing such great stuff, how do I apply to do that?
Sure. Hugo, do you mind if I take that one? And you can chime
I don't
in
mind.
as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in being a peer mentor, some of the things that you should keep in mind is that you do have to be a currently enrolled Lead College student, because we want to make sure that our incoming freshmen are able to connect with someone that's navigating the Lead College processes at the same time. So we actually hire student assistants through the Career and Transfer Office, which is led by Lena Yepes and her wonderful team. So a lot of times we do get recommendations from EDUC 1200 faculty or from other faculty members. So I would say if this is something that you're thinking about, really make an impression in your class so that you could be one of those individuals that's recommended. But if maybe you didn't really connect with that professor and you're still interested in helping, it would be a direct contact to either Hugo or myself and just letting us know that you're interested. You can also indicate that you're interested when you fill out an application with the Career and Transfer Office. Now, if you're interested in becoming a tutor and SI coach, that's a little bit more detailed. We actually have those applications through our HR website. So if you look at the leadcollege.edu/HR, you'll be able to find both direct links to those jobs online. But we're always happy to field any questions that you might have about the position, especially because all three are quite different. So we want to make sure that we recommend the position that's best for you during the application process. So just like we're very much like hands-on and holistic with our students, we're the same during the employment process until we do walk you through every step that you need to take.
Excellent. Hugo, did you want to add anything to that?
I think Jessica covered it pretty well. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, here's a question for you, Hugo. Do I need to be in an Educ class to talk to a peer mentor?
Yeah, like mentioned earlier, you don't at all. They are there to guide really any student, that has a question. They wouldn't mind helping out. That's why they're trained the way they are, so they can be aware of all the resources and redirect you, to them. So,
Excellent. Thank you for that. I guess another question that I have about your programs. And I think you touched up a lot about all the different programs that are housed in the Learning Hub. So if I'm wanting to seek out any of those services, I can just come, or I can virtually visit with one of y'all, and then you can direct me virtually to one of the information meetings, like for Puente or for STEM or any of the other programs that you have, right?
Absolutely. And the Learning Hub, I'm not sure if this was spoken about before I jumped on, but we house Puente as well as our 3 peer educator programs, but we also have a really close and tight-knit relationship with Trio, who's right next door to us, as well as the Special Populations Office, which is headed by Brenda Garcia, she helps a lot of our technical students and all students with the food pantry as well. And so Muller Hall has a lot of grant assisted programs, and we all work very, very closely together because we're all considered part of that retention and transition department. So we like to really do a lot of internal referral. So if a peer mentor meets someone that needs tutoring, you know, they'll do a very direct and personal referral and help you make that appointment. Or if it's someone that maybe wants to learn more about Trio, we won't just say, oh, here, email, email this person. We'll make that direct connection for you. We feel very passionately about not just sending people or pointing in a direction, saying here's a phone number, but we'll really try to make a personal connection with someone that's in our department.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We do have a general question from the from someone in the comments that I want to address real quick as we're continuing on talking about your services. This one specifically is from Mary Crease Duke, stating that I've submitted my TASFA in June, and I have been informed that I'll get the results just 2 weeks after I submitted. But until now, I've been getting the same answer that they are still reviewing it. How long is it really, can I get a result? Dr. Carl Husband has answered back on that if you can email him specifically at chusband@lee.edu, he will be able to connect with the financial aid team and to look specifically at your information to see where it is in the process. I know FAFSA has been inundated with a lot of different applications that have gone through, and sometimes that process slows for us, but I know our financial aid team is working really, really hard at ensuring that we get to each and every one of you so that you're ready for the fall semester. The last thing we want to do is to prevent anybody or slow anybody down in the process. And so we appreciate your patience, and please email Dr. Husband as soon as possible so we can get with Felipe and find out more information. So thank you for that question. Okay, so I have another question for Jessica and Hugo, whichever. What other programs, I'm sorry, does my instructor know I attend an SI session? So like if I'm in an SI class, supplemental instruction class, how will my instructor know if I'm attending the sessions, the required sessions?
I can take this one, Jessica, if that's okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have a policy that instructors are not aware of the SI attendance. I was also an SI coach myself, and one of the things that we emphasize when we're assigning SIs to a class with the instructor is that the attendance will not be shared with the instructor, and that's due to a variety of reasons. We don't want to put pressure on the students to attend. It is entirely optional. We don't want any favoritism issues to happen. That's the last thing we would want, because it is for the student, right? So we would hate to add that kind of pressure on them.
And then also, we at Lee College, 78% of our students are part-time. And so we know that a lot of our students tend to work, or they have, family needs to be a top priority. So sometimes they can't attend an SI session because work has to come first sometimes, or because their family has to come first. And so we would also hate for a student to be penalized for missing out on like extra credit or anything like that because they couldn't attend something that was supplemental. And so we as a department keep track of attendance so that we can let the class know, hey, this is the overall grade for students that attended, this is the overall grade for students who didn't attend. But we rather keep that separate from the professor so that the professor, like Hugo said, doesn't necessarily take that into account with the final grade, because with our busy schedules, not all of us can attend.
Okay, so I have one last question for y'all. My question to you is, as I'm looking at registering for courses and I'm looking through our schedule, our class schedule, how do I know which class sections offer a supplemental instructor? Because I really am interested in knowing are getting that additional service within that class. So how can students find that in the class schedule?
Sure. So what we try our best to get something that's called a class note that's visible on PeopleSoft when people are registering for their classes. And so underneath like the class time, or if it's an online course, it'll say that this course has supplemental instruction. Right now, we're still working to get those class notes up and listed. With COVID, some things are up in the air. So sometimes, what we thought might be a hybrid class is now turned into an online class or vice versa. Some classes that are 16 weeks have turned into maybe a 13-week class. So what we're trying to do right now is to see how solidified the classes can get before the class notes will be on. But I will say that we have a very large focus for the fall in economics, history, government, and English. Because a lot of our tutoring covers math and science, we tend to be a bit more focused in the reading and writing courses for supplemental instruction so that we can cover as many subjects as possible. But I hope within maybe about 4 to 5 days, we'll have all the notes up because, we're also still confirming with faculty. But the best thing to do for a student is to register for a class. And then if they really want supplemental instruction, maybe they can check back within about a week and see if the class that they want has an SI section, and then they can switch that out.
Excellent. Thank you, Jessica, for that information. Hopefully, to her point, right now we're still solidifying the schedule. It's a fluid situation because of COVID, because of the pandemic, trying to figure out how we're going to offer courses. We do offer asynchronous, which is online courses, synchronous, which are also known as Lee Streams courses, where you actually meet with an instructor at a specific time. And we also have hybrid courses where you can actually come face to face, but we would have to practice social distancing. So looking at trying to ensure that everybody's safety is in consideration whenever we make those classes. So as we're moving in that direction to solidify our fall classes, you'll start seeing those class notes at the bottom of the actual class selection. So bear with us. We are moving in a great direction. I'm really excited about fall. Fall enrollment in like well underway. So by all means, if you have any questions, concerns, you can always reach the Advising Counseling Center at counselor, COUNSELOR at lee.edu, so that we can direct you to the advising or the advisor or counselor of, that you're assigned to based on your major. I do want to also talk about real quick that we are going to have 2 advising informational services, informational service sessions coming up to talk about technical and industrial careers for one, which is going to be after Facebook Live next week at 6:30, right? Immediately after Facebook Live next week. And we will be marketing that information and putting it online for you to register for that event. If you're interested in a technical career and you're unsure of which way you want to go, that's essentially what we're looking at. That's the perfect time for you to come. We're going to have faculty there, as well as the advisor and the financial aid specialist assigned to that pathway, so that we can answer general questions for you. We want to make sure that we are able to assist you in any way, shape, or form. We're also going to have another one next Thursday, same time, 6:30. We'll advertise that information as well for allied health professions, for students that are interested in maybe I want to be an LVN, maybe I want to do ADN, maybe I want to go BSN, or I want to look at health information technology, or alcohol and drug abuse or addiction counseling. So there are different, and kinesiology is another one that's under that pathway. So there's different areas that we're looking at displaying and having conversations and presentations on for those programs, in case you have questions about those areas. So we look forward to you all tuning in to that. We will also have, if you have any financial aid questions, I know Sarah's put it in the chat and Carl has put it in the chat for FinAid, FIN-AID, AID at lee.edu. As well as admissions questions. Dr. Carl Husband is in charge of admissions, so he would be able to answer your questions. Admissions, ADMISSIONS at lee.edu. As you can see, Jessica and Hugo's email addresses are on the screen. jfaya at lee.edu and Hugo Gonzalez at lee.edu. So feel free to email them and get more information for your student or yourself. We look forward to making sure we are here to help you succeed in every way we can. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much, Jessica and Hugo, for coming on here and talking about your supports that you offer our students. It's such a great pleasure to work with y'all in that capacity, and thank you for talking with us today. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye. Thanks for having us.